Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
How are you? Ryan, while you're on the show right now, just kind of give a little bit of background about yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no problem. I'm from Ohio. I'm a constitutional conservative. I run Conservative Corner Entertainment too, and I am an advocate for all things freedom.
All right. So, by the way, we're supposed to be having September 21st, we're going to be getting together for a special event. Could you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, it's September 21st, 2024 this year. We figured just a couple months before the election, we would get another Trump train rolling through eastern Ohio. Last time we did this was in 2020. We had about 5,000 cars show up. So we're hoping to get close to that number this time. We're going to have some speakers, including Mark here and a few others. We'll be in Rayland, Ohio at 12 o'clock for some speakers and a Trump train.
Right, great. And incidentally, September 21st is also my wife's birthday, and I just
lost
it. So I'm battling with her now about that, but I'm still going to try to be there. I'm going to try to bring her with me. And so, but the border, as far as the border, how do you feel about what's happening right now? Have you been monitoring any of that?
I have. If you ask me, we're under an invasion. We have been for quite some time. Actually, I don't know what took so long to get to the conclusion that this is an invasion, and now people are starting to talk about it, which makes me feel a little bit better, being as there's more attention being drawn to it. I stand with Texas and Governor Abbott 100%.
Right. So do I, and I'm thinking, I'm going to be showing next where Fox News is talking about how the United Nations, a lot of people don't realize they're the ones actually helping to fund this invasion of our country and other countries around the world.
Yes.
Through a lot of the programs that they have. And so as you know, on my show, I've always talked about this. I've talked about this globalism and how this globalism is going to destroy national sovereignty. We know that when President Trump ran in office, he said, Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. And we will not march to the false song of globalism. I don't think people were really aware at that time what globalism entailed. But, now that we see the World Economic Forum coming out with their policy of Agenda 2030 and how they say, you will own nothing and have nothing and be happy. Do you feel people are now starting to put the puzzles together?
I do. I really do. I know personally from people that I've spoken with at events and, rallies and just even in my own personal life, have come around a lot. People that before, I'd say a year or two ago, were that's not possible. That can't happen. That's not true. Now they're coming around and starting to see it.
Right. It's funny because I'm looking at your Facebook right now. It says, give up the border, give up Shelby Park, and don't defend yourself, the Supreme Court says. And then at the bottom, you got some Texans saying, hold my beer. Watch this.
Yeah.
I think that it is time that Americans start to see that, they tried to use January 6th as a measure to scare us to death so that we won't stand up, that we won't resist, that we won't protest. And so they're trying to make it look like if you go out at all and do that, that you're going to be a terrorist and they're going to put you in Gitmo or some kind of jail and not let you back out. But, if you're
you're 100% correct.
Yeah, if you're doing it lawfully and legally, and peacefully, then you should be able to do so.
Right.
More and more evidence has come out that the insurrection at the January 6th was more of a Fedsurrection, everybody's calling it, because we know that, there were lots of federal agents, and then we seen where they finally got Ray Epps, and, they smacked him on his hand, but they had to admit that he was involved finally after so much pressure from alternative news media and media agencies like yourselves and mine. This is why people who are watching the show should support shows like Six Semper Tyrannis News, Conservative Corner Entertainment, too, and all other alternative news media that is giving out vital information based on as good of evidence as we can get, information that we can get, that we can verify, showing that there is a plot to destroy the national sovereignty of the United States and other countries and merge them into a form of world government. Hey, Ryan, I know you're probably pressed for time, but is there anything else that you'd like to talk about as far as the border or any other issues that you have?
Well, I did hear, I've been in some close talks with people who are involved with the border convoy. I heard there were 700,000 trucks headed to the border.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I have seen some of the, I've seen some of that. I haven't been able to cover that news yet, but,
Mark, I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't know if you can hear it in the background. I've been hearing semi-automatic gunfire all day long.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're preparing for something or what, but
goodness. Well, I mean, that is amazing. But again, I think that this fight, then we also seen with Kari Lake how the one, what was it, Governor, the GOP chair, Jeff DeWitt, was trying to bribe Kari Lake.
Yeah, she said, I can't be bought.
Have you heard any more news on that lately?
As far as I know, the following day, don't quote me, it might be the day after, I'm not sure, but the 2 days in between, he resigned. He just, on his own accord, I guess he said Kari Lake had more recordings of him that were even more damaging. And he said due to his past conversations with Lake, he doesn't want to take the chance, so he just dropped out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that is crazy. I mean, again, things like that, exposing these people for what they're doing is how we're going to win back the country. A lot of people feel like we're almost at a loss, that, there's nothing we can do. But
no, sure there is.
Yeah, and what are some of the things that you would advise that, Americans can do to take the country back?
Well, first thing is, I see a lot of talk from a lot of people about a lot of things, but they don't like to do anything about it. They go to work, they live their lives, and I get that. I do the same. But we also, on the same token, have to really be considering, how we're going to do this, because we are losing our country. Slowly but surely, we are losing our country. We're losing our foundation, and we're losing our founding morals. So run for public office, whether it's mayor, city council. It all starts somewhere. And I always said the swamp starts at the smallest levels and works its way up pretty fast.
Right.
So that's one way we can tackle it. Just get involved, people. That's my best advice.
Right. And then, of course, DeSantis has dropped out. We know that Vivek Ramaswamy now has dropped out and is now standing with Trump. And then we, of course, heard some news about, I've got to cover it. I don't know if you've heard any news about, what's her name, who's running as well. My brain is slipping right now. Nikki Haley, yeah. That she's getting some funding from some shady organizations. I know that Mark Levin was talking about it. Some leftist organizations, I think.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think of the exact one. I'll cover that on another show. But
I can't remember myself, but I did read up on that, and they were some a couple pretty leftist organizations, and it's all talk, and I don't know if it's 100% true, so I'm not going to say it's true, but I heard that George Soros had a little bit to do with Nikki Haley.
Exactly, and I think I have too. And I'm going to do some more research on that and do some coverage of it. I'm not going to say
me
much
too.
yet because I can't remember. But one of the things too was I was hearing on 610 radio on a conservative channel too, actually, saying that Nikki Haley should tone down the rhetoric so that she can try to run for like vice president or something. But I'm totally against that. I think that Trump should have nothing to do with her this term.
Yeah, no. No, and you know what? I also, being a former ambassador, what was she, ambassador to the UN?
Right.
I'm not 100% sure that I trust that or trust her, given the title alone. But you know, let's face it, she's an elitist. That's what she is, and I would not support her for vice president at all.
Right. I think I agree as well. I wouldn't want her in politics. The first time that she was in as ambassador to the United Nations and so on, initially, things seemed to be okay. But as time progressed more and more, she seemed to be more of a, in my opinion, of a neocon type.
Yep.
So I think that it would be wise for Trump to just kind of dismiss her. He needs to work on getting a whole new crew, people that are going to be loyal to the Constitution of the United States and to the American people, America first. And that's how we're going to win back. So I do appreciate you coming on. If you, have any other thoughts or anything, I'd like to hear from you. Otherwise, we're going to move on with the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? I appreciate you having me on, Mark. I think we've pretty much covered it all for right now.
All right. Well, you take care. And thanks for, like I said, thanks for popping in.
All righty. You too, my friend. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was my friend Ryan. He is a great guy. Like I said, he ran for mayor in Rayland, Ohio, and didn't win, but he continues to fight for the country and fight for his state. And that's really what people need to do, is fight for their own states, and not give in to just anything that these people are talking about. I want to